Hi. So I decided to do another gear video. This one is going to feature the Korg DW8000, which is very similar to the DSS-1, which I reviewed. I guess reviewed. Is that a good way to put it? Yesterday. So here we go. Okay, so here we are again, doing some more gear reviews, and this one, well, it's not really a gear review. It's basically a video of me making sounds on some of the keyboards and synthesizers and stuff that I have in my collection. Today's is the Korg DW8000 programmable digital waveform synthesizer. It's in the same family as the Korg DSS-1, which I did a video of yesterday. Only this isn't sample based. It's got internal waveforms that are digitally created, but analog control. So it's, analog filters, which is, that makes a whole difference, a whole world of difference. It has 8 banks of 8 sounds you can store them to cassette if you're feeling saucy, or you can just plug them in to whatever wave file or digital audio program you have, and you can record the save file to that and load it up. I've had to do that a few times because the memory in this keeps getting corrupt, because it is old. It's 30 years old, and it has been repaired. There's still a couple of flubby keys here and there, and some of the keys, the buttons on the front are a little sticky, but for the sound that it makes and the kind of tone that I can get out of it, I'll take it, I'll take some of the minor inconveniences if it means having something that sounds so genuinely unique, like this line of Korgs. So there was one that came out before it called the DW8000, which I don't really know much about because I only ever liked this one. And then, well, the selling point on the DSS-1 that I got, which I got for free from my friend Jerry Hodson, was that it's like a souped up version of the DW8000. You can put in your own waveforms digitally, like draw them, or you can sample them, and then it has dual delay lines and same like analog filters and stuff. So the DW8000 only has one delay line, which you can hear. It sounds like that. It's a weird thing. If you plug it into something stereo and you record it, you'll have like phasing issues. It's really strange. It's because it's almost like it's the delay. They're trying to widen the delay by using some sort of phasing algorithm. But if you do it in mono, you get the same effect and it doesn't sound all wonky. So, okay, so we have 2 oscillators per voice. They can be any one of the 16, which you can't see off camera here, any one of these 16 wave patterns. The first one being saw wave, and then some of them are pretty wild. Like this unit has sort of a PPG crossed with a Casio CZ5000 crossed with a DX7 kind of thing going on for it. It's really unique and weird because you have some sounds that are, and then yay, let's play some smooth jazz. And then there's really abrasive stuff. Like, let's find something that's a little wacky. Like, so I've got some wild, the delay has this wild modulation on it that when you put it on, it just makes everything go to hell. And hell's a good place to go in synthesizer terms sometimes. So yeah, I mean, it can sound very digital, but at the same time, it can sound incredibly warm and wonderful and very analog and, well, it's very retro. It's very, very like mid-80s, the whole thing. And I love it. I've used it on pretty much everything. Somewhere in each one of the Glass Apple Bonzai songs, there's some sound from this that I've outsourced You know, because especially what I'm doing now, where I'm writing primarily on hardware, on the Roland Era stuff that I got, and the Micro Brute, and this, I have the, you know, the arpeggiator that it has. You know, arpeggiators are wonderful, because especially when you can latch them down and you can make them do things without actually having to touch the... Yeah. Okay, so fuck the electric piano sounds for now. I'll just start making a sound with it. It's all push button stuff on the front, but there's a whole panel that tells you all the parameter numbers and what their individual sort of numeric values are. Like your octaves are 16 foot, 8 foot, 4 foot. Waveform, you have choose between 1 and 16. The level is, you know, it's all like, you know, kind of 0 to 31 for your level, and, you know, auto bend and all sorts of shit and whatever. So let's dive into that. So parameter 11 is your octave for your first oscillator. So let me quickly go to the second oscillator and turn it off, and we'll just work with one right now. 23, turn it off. Okay. So let's go to parameter 12 and we'll choose our waveform. I mean, obviously 1 is a saw wave. So it's sort of squarey, weird sounding thing. That's obviously the electric piano waveform. The organs. That's kind of a neat one. I'm not playing very well today. Yeah, so let's... You know what, fuck it. Let's just start with a saw. And we'll go to this level, it's at maximum. Then we will we'll try out the auto bend just for shits and giggles. You can do both. It's off, oscillator 1, oscillator 2, or both oscillators, which is kind of convenient because you can get some pretty cool, very cosmic sounds with an auto bend. So you get a choice, it's up or down. We'll do up, and then you really just sort of set your time. Oh, sorry, you have to set the intensity as well. So we'll go back and we'll bring the time down a little. And yeah, I don't know, that's fun. Alright, so now we can go over to the VCF and this sort of whole era of Korg stuff, from what I know anyways, it's the only experience that I have with the DW8000 and the DSS-1, is that their envelope generators are not just your typical ADSR. These are ADBSSR. So we have attack, decay, break, point, I think it is, slope, sustain, and release. So I'm guessing that sort of the break point is like the height at which your decay starts to arc down, and the slope is actually the shape and or speed of the slope, your decay slope, which is pretty neat because you can get some really snappy sounds that come right in with the filter and then just drop right off, and it's kind of a neat thing. It gives it more of a unique flavor instead of just your typical like up and down modulation in your filter. So obviously there's something going on it right now. So let's go to 41, which is the VCF attack. Actually, let's go back to the VCF for a second, because that's 31. It's such a wonderful warmth to it. What a great sound already. Your VCF polarity, that just changes, how it operates. Instead of it swelling in, it'll sort of swell down, The resonance on this is totally killer. It can be absolutely ridiculous. Like super spacey, or just... I won't even use much of it on this sound. So we'll go to the VCF again, and the VCF envelope, and we will go to 42, which is my decay. I think there's something on the VCA thing here. Let me go to that. No, 52. Whoa, sticky buttons. That's a fucking cool sound. You know what? I don't think I'm going to mess with this really that much more. I like where it's going. I'm going to go to the second oscillator. And I'm going to bring the level of that up. That's a neat sound. Okay, so back to the envelope again, because I want to bring the release up so it has a little bit more hang time. I think the release is pretty good with the... Yeah, it's no sustain, so... Let's try changing the oscillator 2 waveform to maybe... We'll go to the D tune, and we'll jack it up pretty... Bring the release on the VCF up a bit, because I think wonderful. Now we'll go into the delay section. It's only a mono delay line, but it's still pretty awesome. So we get time is between 0 and 7, and I'm not entirely sure what the actual delay times are. But there's a factor which gives you more of like a fine tune on the time. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. We'll get a nice big long delay on here. The feedback can go pretty high. There's a mod on the delay that you can put on there that just sort of changes it up a little bit. And then of course there's the effect level itself. There's some weird shit going on in that sound. Let's go back to the mod and turn that off. Oh, that's the mod intensity is really high. That's why. So we'll just do a little. You know, that's a really nice. Still stands out. It's not too, you know, too warm and wide, but it's not too subdued. It's yeah, so there we go. That was fun.